Facebook Live event from PHLV Radio. Another Facebook Live event from PHLV Radio.
Just like a friend from back home.
This is your Filipino radio experience in Las Vegas. PHLV Radio.
PHLV Radio.
Good evening. It's Friday night and it's 9 p.m. here in the Pacific. And good evening to everybody. And if you are watching us from the Philippines, it is Saturday, 12 noon. Magandang tanghali sa inyong lahat. And those people watching us in different parts of the world, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, or to make it easier, good day sa inyong lahat. And hopefully you're having a wonderful, wonderful day. As you could tell, I'm not in my home office. I'm in a very good friend's home at nakikikain. So hopefully you guys are having a wonderful dinner if you're like me in a friend's house. Just before we start, we're live po sa PHLV Radio Facebook page, live also on PHLV YouTube channel. So if you're not a subscriber yet, what are you waiting for? All you have to do is like, share, and subscribe so you won't miss any of the PHLV Radio shows. Also, if you are using Alexa, all you have to do is say, Alexa, play PHLV Radio. And those people who are using Amazon Fire TV, all you have to do is look for PHLV channel. And those people naman po who are gonna be hearing us, we are also live audio streaming. All you have to do is go to any of the podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. And those people who've been texting us and emailing us at the same time because they kind of missed some of the shows, or like if they're coming late, with no problem and no worries at all. All you have to do is go to our website, which is www.phlbradio.com, or you could also go to our PHLV Radio YouTube channel. We have already put a playlist of all the shows of the station. So there's no way of not watching us anymore. So so that is to let everybody know. Now, a lot of people are asking us, I disappeared almost like 3 weeks in the past month, and that's the reason why and some of you would know I was traveling, and I'm going to share that with you as promised. So we did a couple of trips to Europe, and I'm going to share the first portion of that, which is part 1 today. We're going to cover Italy, and we're going to cover Rome, Naples, Venice, as well as Venice, Rome, Florence. Okay, how can I forget Florence? And I'll explain to you what's going on. And then next time we go live again, we're going to cover Greece, and that's Santorini and Mykonos. And we're going to have some other features on the channel. But before anything else, let me make sure that I go live because a lot of you are asking, they're trying to follow me, but they cannot see us. Hold on, okay? So I apologize. Oh, there you go. Okay, let me just share this. Because a lot of you are asking. Okay, let me share this for everybody. Okay, hold on. Share. And I'm going to give you tips also as well. So at least moving forward, you would know some of the things, especially if you're traveling to Europe. I'm going to give you some tips on how to make it more exciting at the same time. So a lot of the people like, shout outs to Mary Guzman. She's one of the people I was with especially with the trip. So they're watching also with Rachel and Ate Rox. So hello and shout out to you. So let's start. Firstly, the first thing I would advise to you if you're going to any parts of the world, whether Europe, Asia, or any continents, it is always wonderful to travel with friends because it makes it more fun, it makes it more exciting, and overall, it's also make the trip or the travel itself inexpensively. Why? Because firstly, the cost of the trip will be divided among you, among the participants, or among the people who's going with you. Secondly, you need to find a perfect travel buddy. Like in this case, I was blessed with a very, very good friend, like almost like a sister. It happens to be Rox, and she's a good friend of mine. And she did everything for the whole group. There's 32 of us. And she was magnificently, amazingly, single-handedly put something together for the whole group. As I and most of you had known that I was away in Manila and everything was done. All I have to do is show up and everything was kind of laid out. So I'm taking this opportunity to really thank Roxanne for doing that, not only for me, but for the rest of the group. I think you are God's blessing and it's amazing. You're an amazing individual. And I am lost of a word, a description to profess how appreciative of us on behalf of the group on what you did. There's so many, not so much drama that took place, but at the end of the day, it is so stressful. But you single-handedly did a fantastic job. So let's start with our first trip to Italy, and we're gonna cover right now Florence. So let's roll the tape on Florence, and I will be doing the voice over. So our first stop was Florence, and the way to do that is, in my particular case, we flew in from LA, direct flight to Rome. So I do not advise you guys flying in direct flight. Try to moving forward, try to get a stopover or a layover in another country or another area, because if you do a direct flight, it is very expensive. And the smart way of doing that is make sure when you travel, try to get a layover where you could stop for a couple of hours in a different area before you go to the point of destination. In this particular case, Rome. So that was very expensive. This particular flight was very expensive because it was a direct flight from LA to Rome. What you're seeing right now is Duomo, Cathedral Duomo, and this is a striking architectural masterpiece named in the honor of Santa Maria del Fiore, which is it's a Gothic structure. So if you see this live, it's like a mural wherein it's amazingly constructed. It's not your typical building. It looks just facade alone, just the facade of the building or this cathedral. It's amazing. It's so surreal. It looked like it was painted on paper, but it is amazingly beautiful. Sadly, we tried to get in twice, but there was a line, and by the time we get in the second time we tried, we were not able to get in simply because it's already sold out. So hopefully the next trip that I go to Florence, I would be able to show you the inside of this cathedral simply because it is just amazingly beautiful. As you could tell, this is just the front and the side of the place, and you can see the big dome, the orange dome. And if you are familiar with how the constructions are done, the structures or the buildings are done, especially the cathedral, they are separated from one another, meaning the baptismal building is separate or connected in one area, and then the main chapel or the main cathedral, and then the bell tower. The reason being is in the olden days, you cannot enter the cathedral or the chapel itself if you are not baptized. So what they do in the olden days is they go first get their baptism before they are allowed to enter the main cathedral. And that's the reason why all those buildings were placed separately. And I think we covered that the last time I talked about Florence, when we are able to cover the Pisa, the place of the Leaning Tower of Pisa. And I explained to you why there were 3 structures there. So that's the reason why I didn't cover it this time, because we were able to talk at length about that. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's roll more BTR on Florence. Because here, okay, majority of the Filipinos, and I laugh about it because this is definitely a stop. If you are if you're going to go to Florence, one of the reasons why people will go to Florence, aside from the academe or the structure where you could see David, this is Florence, the mall. To get there is from Florence. Okay, remember we arrived in Rome. To go to Florence, you take a train, and then you get into Roman termini, and then from there you could take a bus in Florence, and it's like 21 euros, I believe. And of course, that's already discounted because of what my good friend Rox did, and she got a pass for the 32 people who were part of this trip. So the mall is the outlet. And this is really a big thing, especially for the people who would like to have discounts on name brands or signature brands, such as Gucci, Prada, and other big companies, Tory Burch, and then the other signature companies are there. Of course, people go crazy. Majority of us went crazy because the discounts is amazingly wonderful. A good example is those people who purchased Prada. It was, as you could tell, this is almost the same what we have here in California. It is an outdoor, and sadly, it was so hot for me. So majority of the time, I was in one of the cafe feeding myself because it was so humid, it was so hot. I do not advise, moving forward, I do not advise you guys to go to Florence or to Europe in the months of July. Try to get in there September, October, November when it's cooler and it's going to that part where it's going to be fall. Because summer is just unbelievably hot. Napaka-init po niya. Okay. Now, since we did Florence was like more of a thing for us. There's a couple of things we did, and then we went to, I don't think it was captured here, or it was dropped during the transfer of the video. We were able to capture some of the streets of Florence, but we don't have that. So the next stop we did, I believe the one we're going to show you is Venice. Okay, this is all new to me because I've been to Florence, I've been to Rome a couple of times, but Venice to me was so surreal. Why? Because the thing is, I was expecting it to be so far away, but surprisingly, all you have to do is take a train to Venice from the Termini, from Roman Termini. You take a train, and then you go to Venice, and right after you go to that the Venice station, you cross the street and you see this. This is the streets of Venice. If you been to Europe, you would see majority of the time There's vendors on your left and right, and the buildings are just amazing and beautiful. They're landmark buildings. They were preserved wonderfully, amazingly, and as you could tell, we were just walking. Oh, I recommend also to have good, very, very good walking shoes. That was my problem. I was wearing athletic shoes, but the sole, yung suelas, was so, it was not cushiony enough that it hurt my feet simply because of the pebbles and the stones, because it's not like what we have in different parts of the world where it's cemented. This one, it's the olden ways, the how it's done, and I could in a way reference it back to, if you eat to vegan in Ilocos Sur, you would notice that that's how it is. So I recommend to have really a comfortable walking shoes to make your stay and your visit wonderful. Okay, this is one of the plaza that we stopped to take a breather, and this is a church, and the structure. Venice is well known. Not only it's surrounded by water, but it's well known with all its cathedrals. There's so many cathedrals there, and we're going to show the big ones that we visited because we were only there for a day. Before I continue, Cherry Aklan is watching. Feli Alfien is watching as well. Hi, Feli. And then sabi niya, hi Kuya Josh, ang ganda ng building. Looks amazing. Yes, it is. And then Adele Ordinarius watching from Long Beach, California. Oh, and Adele Cruz. Greetings from Manila. Adele Cruz, congratulations. And next week, we will show you, with permission of course, his oath-taking. Adele Cruz is the former Consul General of Los Angeles, but now he is officially the Chief of Presidential Protocol and Presidential Advisor for Foreign Affairs of the Marcos or Bongbong Marcos administration. Congratulations, and we are so proud of you and what you have accomplished, and well deserved, and good luck and more power to you, COPP Adele Cruz. And we'll show your video as well, because we were able and blessed to have a copy of your oath taking with the President Bongbong Marcos. So we'll show that next week. Also, that will be coming out in different publications as well. Hopefully, I get your permission to do so. Again, congratulations. So our next stop would be, let's show more of Venice. Yeah, so this is still Venice, and I would like to tell you that we did walk, and of course, it's a lot of walking. If you are in Europe, make sure na ready kayong maglakad, because it is really a walking tour. Yeah, you cannot really do your riding and stuff like that because it's not readily available, because there's so many things to see, so many spots that you could take your pictures. Everything that you see, it's Instagrammable. And if you are really a aficionado of some souvenirs, this is a place to be. Other than it's very, very hot, so the ladies, you could tell they're wearing their hats and then Attorney Jamela Netos, a very good friend of mine. She is a immigration lawyer par excellence, and she's very, very humble, but she's very, very effective and very good. I know she's gonna kill me for saying that, but if you need a very good immigration lawyer, I would highly recommend Jamela Nettles is the name. Nettles, Jamela. And she's based in Los Angeles, and she goes all over the place. Okay, as you could tell, let me continue. There's a lot of bridges in Venice, and bridges that you have to cross, because again, it's surrounded by water. So again, you could see how beautiful this place is, and it's just so surreal. And you could tell that on both sides there's water, and it would show the Grand Canal. people in the Philippines, you might be kind of comparing it. It is almost the same with the one in McKinley, the Venice gondola ride that you guys normally would have. I think it's 2,000 pesos. But here you would see later that we were able and blessed to be able to ride a gondola, and we did a Grand Canal tour of that. And I will tell you also how much it cost. So you could tell we did a lot of walking, and there's more bridges to cross. This is on our way to St. Mark's Basilica, or Piazza or Plaza San Marco. And then, of course, you'll see the beautiful buildings that they have. And of course, it's surrounded by water, like what I said earlier. And you could see some of the gondolas there. And of course, it's surrounded the pool place. There's so many things to see, so many museums, so many stores that you could buy so many things until your heart content. There's signatures that you could, signature items that you could buy also. It's like, to me, I would say it's a little rodeo drive. There's this whole street where all the signatures, the Louis Vuittons and the Balenciaga and the Hermes, you could find it there in that space. Now, my experience is one day in Venice is not enough. So I would recommend moving forward, if you're gonna be visiting Venice, to spend it at least 2 days. Do an overnighter there. There's a lot of hotels, reasonable hotels that you could rent, or you could be there for a day or so, but at least spend 2 days. You could see that's the gondola ride. Oh, and then of course our good friend and Roxanne was able to get us into this roof that shows the 360 degrees of Venice. I would get you that information because this particular this was like one of this opportunity, a rare opportunity, because normally to be able to go to this area or any similar to this area, there's a fee. But Roxanne was very good in finding all the deals. This, we were able to spend 15 minutes on top of a roof where we could take pictures and we could do the panoramic view of the whole Venice, and you could tell. And we all did this for 15 minutes free of charge. And that is one of the things that we are so thankful for. And this is such an opportunity. It's like not to miss. You need to be able to get into this terrace or rooftop. I will get you that information hopefully by next week when we do another travel log next week when we cover Greece. Okay, so I tried to get as much of this video in here because if you're seeing it right now and you're enjoying it, imagine seeing it live, and it's just, I am at the loss of an adjective to explain how beautiful Venice is. And this, I think for me, this is one of those places that becomes definitely an instant favorite of mine. Okay. So now we're heading towards, this one is the Ponte Rialto, and this is the St. Mark Basilica or Piazza San Marco. And this is the most famous square and in Venice. And now there's some construction going on, and that's the cathedral. There's a lot of things going on right there. And now, as you could tell, there's a lot of tourists as well, because now Europe had opened during the time that we visited. Prior to this, when they first opened, some friends were there already, and there's not a lot of people. But during our visit for that particular day, it was so humid, it was so hot, and there's a lot of tourists, just like us. Of course, in Europe, it's not mandatory to wear masks anymore. It's as long as if it's a personal choice. If you want to wear masks, so be it. If not, that's okay as well. So look at that. Of course, this if you see it live, there's so much construction, and hopefully I could see it. I could go in next time if I have more time, because again, this was just a day trip to Venice. So those building, the edifice of this building, the facade, is just amazingly beautiful, and of course the intricacy of the way they're done, the posts, the columns, the structure. It's just beautiful landmark, and it's just one of those that you just need to wonder how they put this together, and the time that they put it, and the time put in it to be able to construct such beautiful edifice, such beautiful structure, such beautiful monuments for that matter. It's just, I am at a loss of word, to be honest, because I am so in love with Venice. So this is so nice because while we're doing this, we're looking for, because we want to experience the gondola ride. So this is on the way there. This is the still on the Plaza de San Marco, or the St. Mark's Square or Basilica. I was not able to get in because like what I said, I would not have enough time because of the limited time. It's just a day trip to Venice. But definitely, I would suggest, like, if you're ever gonna go to Venice, spend at least 2 to 3 days there, because there's so much cathedrals, so much churches, so much structures to visit, and the museums as well, and also the shanties, the shops, the restaurants that you could enjoy. A day trip is too short for me to be able to bask in the glory of Venice. And look at that. I mean, people are just strolling around, enjoying the beautiful view of this plaza, of this Piazza de San Marco. This is really the famous square that there is, and it's just the structure are simply amazing, beyond compare. It's just one of those that you are at awe the whole time that you are there. Like, everything you want to take pictures of, you want to simply admire the structure, how they were put together, how they were constructed, the time spent, and just the idea of how this came about. Look at that cathedral. Now, this is the gondola ride, which if you are from Las Vegas and you're watching from Vegas, this is almost a replica of what they have in Vegas as well as in McKinley in the Philippines. It is a replica of the gondola ride, but this one is really where it happened. And as you could tell, it was so hot. These are some of the people that I traveled with.
I'll put you on TV.
Well, prior to going in there, they said that there's this thing that the water is smelly, that it's reminiscent of Pasig River, and I kid you not, it is not at all. It's kind of greenish, bluish green, and there's so many bridges that you go through, and this is how they came about. I was with some friends when we took a gondola ride. Oh, normally, just a tip, when you go and rent a gondola, they would normally say 120 euros. But what you need to do, being a Filipino, all you have to do is bargain. Okay, so what we did is we say, oh, that's too mahal, that's too expensive. So we tried to get away from one group, and then the group that we normally, the first group that we asked on the rental, followed us and gave us a good discount. So from 120, it was reduced to 100. And of course, I was with wonderful ladies who are so good when it comes to bargaining. They were able to lower it for a 30-minute gondola ride. It only costs us 80 euros. So, and there's, in this, at least for my space, for my gondola, there's 5 of us. So 80 divided by 5, do the math, and it was inexpensive. And of course, Oh, a lot of people were asking, did they sink? I think some of the boatman, they did. Ours did not. He was very concentrated on making sure that we don't hit any of those walls or any of the other gondolas that we encounter, because it's like a two-way. So some people are going towards us, and some gondolas are going on the right side, going south, while we're going north. And if they're going north, they're going south. So far, I have not heard of any accident. I have not heard of any untoward situation that to be worried about. But at least you really have to experience it. That's why I was telling some friends here in California that once you try this, anything that is of Vegas or anything of Manila, nothing compare, because this is the real deal. The experience is so much to be desired. It is just one of those that it's one experience of a lifetime. I would always recommend for everybody to try it at least once. It is very safe, and the boat people or the boatman that's maneuvering these gondolas, they're expert on this field, and they are local. They live in Venice, and they're very experienced, and they've done this. Okay, now you see a lot of bridges as we pass through. There's a lot of bridges that you go through, because like what I said, Venice is surrounded by water, and there's this urban legend that they're saying that after a few years from now, maybe the next 10 to 20 years, the whole Venice will disappear. And whether it's true or not, it's being said, just like they said that Maldives will disappear as well because of what's happening with the climate change. But when we were there, it was just one of those beautiful days. It was very hot, and but the experience is just one for the books. Later, you'll see the Ponte di Rialto. It's a landmark bridge that is the bridge connecting from the train station to the main area or courtyard of Venice. And it was built approximately 12,000 wooden pilings, and it's still holding 400 years when it was built. So it was one of those. And of course, when we were there, I kind of noticed that it's kind of different from the other bridges that we saw, but you will see later, and hopefully I have a good view of that. I tried to get a good video of that, because it's really, when you look at textbooks or anything, postcards of Venice, it's one of those that are iconically pictured and photographed, simply because it is, aside from the gondolas, aside from the canal, it is one of those that once you see it, it automatically reminds you of Venice. Yeah, so these are houses, by the way, houses and office buildings, both left and right. And so the way they do it is they could go in there, even though, and they have other means of going there, either through a speedboat, or like in our case, it's gondola. These are hotels as well as homes and office buildings. And as you can tell, and you'll see some of the speedboats, you'll see that as well, because I was thinking prior to my visit, I was thinking that everything that is on that river is all gondolas. And to my surprise, it's not. So it's a combination. And people are still, it's still well populated. And then the funny thing is, on the way back, is like what I said, it was just a day trip for us. It took us a while to go back to the train station, at least me and a good friend, because we got lost. Because it's like a maze, and it seems like I was told that by the group that all of us got lost, simply because I think one of my advice next time is not only to get a map, but also get a compass, because normally they would say it's a north off, south off, east west off, or west off. And to be able to navigate through that, I would say a compass would have been very useful during that time, because we were trying to catch the train back to Rome, and we were scared that if we missed that train, there might be some implications or some untoward problem that we may encounter simply because we were only here for a day. Yeah, so see, the way this thing is, you take the gondola and then they tour you for different canals, and then they show you the different buildings. Some of the boatmen, and sadly it's not in us, we were not able to get one that would explain some of these buildings and some of these landmark buildings. But I heard some of the other people who were able to have a very knowledgeable boat person. The boat person not only was navigating the gondola, but was also able to tell them, like a tour guide, was able to tell them the different buildings, the landmarks, and the significance of each buildings. Oops, yeah, so I made a mistake, you could tell. And I noticed, like, oh my God, the camera it's up towards me, so I have to flip it back. And again, it was so hot that day. So, Cha Marcus is watching, and Ernst is watching also. Ernest is watching as well. Emil is watching from Florida. Hi, Emil. May Sarmiento is watching from San Francisco. Hi, May. And hello to everybody, and happy viewing. Okay, let's continue. Okay, so more of this, because again, this is really something that I personally would like everybody to be able to see this firsthand, and I hope and I pray that you guys would have the same experience and would be able to visit this one day. And one of the reasons why we put this together, this travelogue, is because I know people are still scared to travel to Europe simply because of the surge. But I think in this particular case, we just be very careful. We were cautious about wearing masks. If we are in public, then we wear masks, and it is always a mandatory. It is mandatory to wear masks in public transportations like train, buses. It is a mask. They would not let you in there. There's inspectors, conductors that would ask you to wear masks. So that was the deal, and that was the rule while we are in Europe, that we need to wear masks while we were touring around. But if you are already outside of this public transportation, you wearing masks already, it depends really more on a personal choice. So it's really up to you. Some people still wear the mask because they just want to be protected, or they may be having some other maintenance that they need to be protected, especially those people who are kind of mature. So it is important that you keep yourself protected. So after doing the Grand Canal, so now we are on the open sea, and this is on our way back, on our way back to the port, or where the gondola, where we rented them. You could tell that because it was so hot, I was not thinking that part of my finger is showing on the left-hand side, but it is safe. It is beautiful. The water is not nasty like some people would have said that it has some smell. I didn't smell anything. It was bluish green. So it's, in my book, it is so clean, and in my opinion, they said if the water is bluish green, it means it's very deep. So there's life jacket that you need to wear it to begin with. So it's not scary at all. So this is on the way back, okay? And that's the boatman that was assigned to us, and he was okay. Sadly, he was not singing. He tried to sing though on the way, when almost like on the way to where we started, but it was way too late. So it was a 30 to 45-minute tour on a gondola for 80 euros. Nick Guzman, hello. And June Guzman said, hi, Josh. Nick Guzman says, next time I'll go. The Guzmans and the Guzmans are the proponents, and they're the one really responsible for making this trip possible. Not only for me, but for the rest of the 31 people that had a fantastic time in Europe because of their generosity and because of Roxanne's astuteness in putting the trip together and being able to find us the best deals and the best, I would say it's very upscale, but very, I would say as well, very inexpensive. Because normally trips like this would have cost a lot, but because of the size of the group and the cleverness and the expertise of G2 and G1 putting it together, it was just an amazing experience. So that was Venice for you guys. And that's basically a bird's eye view. Now we go into, I believe, Rome. Is it Rome that we have on the next video? Okay, Naples. Okay, sorry. Because I forwarded all my videos. Okay, Naples is a good story. I was here last year. 2019 I was here. We went to Sorrento and we went to Positano and we went to Pompeii. But this particular trip, this was done. I wanted to do and explore the city. So what we did, and what I highly recommend it, if you are traveling to any parts of the Europe or any parts of the world, you try to get into a hop on, hop off. Meaning you hop onto a bus, and then they'll do a tour for you of the whole city or whole place. In this particular one, it's for 24 euros for adults and 12 euros for kids. And they will take you, there's two, for Naples, I could only speak for Naples in this particular trip, since it would be too taxing for us to go to Pompeii, Sorrento, and Positano. So the best way is to explore Naples, the city of Naples. So we took the bus, which is the hop on, hop off. It's a red bus. Now there's only two lines, the A line and the B line. The B line is where this particular film or video is being shot, simply because the B line is where all the coastal area view. And that mountain, that volcano you're seeing, is the Mount Vesuvius. People who are aware or familiar with Pompeii, that was the volcano that flattened or buried Pompeii. So if you would be going back to Italy, especially Naples, I highly recommend to spend a day or two and try to explore Pompeii, Sorrento, as well as Positano. Okay? But this is the view that we have. The double deck that we did is the B line, and it's 24 euros. And this is the view from where we're seated. And it's coastal. And of course, these are the streets going to, now, what you're seeing now is the A line. So the A line will go into the city, and it will show you now what you're seeing right now. And I'm trying to get a view of that. That is the Centro Storico, or the Via San Gregorio Armeno. And that's, if you notice, I remember my trip to Florence, it's almost the same, because majority of Europe, majority of at least Italy, the buildings are almost alike. They're landmark buildings, they're historical buildings, and they preserve them. They make good use of them. So if you notice the upstairs of it, the second, third, or fourth floor, they're always residential hotels, but the lower ground, they're always are commercial buildings or commercial stores. either their mom and pop stores or their souvenir stores or convenience stores. And in every piazza or plaza, there's always something going on. And this was a particular busy day. It was a weekday. And of course, traffic is much to be desired as well, just like any cities in the world. Okay, what you're seeing right now is we're going towards the Palazzo Real or Palazzo Real or Reale. This is the view. I'm trying to capture as much as possible, so at least you get a view and a feel of Naples, the city of Naples. So just like any other city in Europe, it's almost the same. Like if you go to another place in Italy, it's almost they have shanties. Of course, Naples is where, and this is not a trivia at all. Naples is well known for their pizza. Pizza, for the people of Naples, originated in Naples. Okay, or some people they call it Napoli. Okay. So pizza, I highly recommend for you guys to make sure if you ever go to Naples to try their pizza, because it is one of those that needs no introduction, and you would say, no wonder it all started here. Now, you're seeing now the Centro Storico. This is the castle. We didn't have time to go in and explore inside. Maybe I will reserve that for next trip. Given a chance, and if I am blessed to be able to go back to Naples, those are my wish list this time, is to explore the inside of all these castles and cathedrals. See, that's the hop on, hop off bus. You can tell that it's a red color, like I said, and people normally would June said, I love it. Yes, I love it too. And then May said, I want to go back. Yeah, we all want to go back, and hopefully we win this lottery ticket. To my understanding, it's 1.28 billion today. And hopefully there will be a winner among us. Now, what you're seeing now is Plaza Real, Reale. And this is at the heart. And the funny thing is, we're trying to go to the Galleria Principe di Napoli. But on the way there, just like any tourist, we kind of like stumble into this, or we, as much as I'd like to say we did get lost, but we saw this plaza, and lo and behold, this is the Palazzo or Palazzo Real, and this is almost like a next thing to the Galleria. And you'll see the Galleria as well. I believe I took a video of that as well. Okay, and that's the Via Maresiario. And that's basically right across from the library of, and this is very famous for the people. And this is really where a lot of people, they stroll around, and maybe especially on not a hot day, because this particular day, you could tell it was so hot, it was so humid. It's unbelievably hot. So again, I do not recommend moving forward to travel to Europe in the months of June, July, because it's just hot and humid. It's nothing compared to what we have in the Philippines or even in California. It is dry hot. One of those that you perspire and it's so sticky, but it is what it is. But the place itself, it compensated for the heat or the weather itself. Okay, let's continue. I think there's more video on Naples. Okay, this is the very famous Galleria Principe di Napoli, and this is where some of the specialty stores are located. Not the branded stores. It has the Zara. This is where we had lunch. They have a lot of pizza places. Oh, and this is where you could find McDonald's. And the reason we look for McDonald's is because we're looking in Europe. It is just to let you know, if you are not familiar with that, in Europe, it is so expensive to to go to a comfort room or bathroom to relieve yourself. Okay, so it's either you do the one or the two, but you pay €1. But we were lucky because we were able to find a McDonald's, and McDonald's is located in this Galleria Principe di Napoli. Okay, and that's there's a lot of stores in there, and of course there's a lot of people taking pictures because the structure itself is just wonderful. Now we're going, and these are the because of course majority of Filipinos, we like to shop or we like to do window shopping. This is the Via Marciaro, or going to the Rodeo Drive of Naples. That's where you could see the Hermes, the Gucci, the Louis Vuittons, and the other specialty stores that tourists would like to buy. Okay, now a lot of people are saying, is it really good to buy in Europe? And my answer to that is absolutely. Europe is the place to go shop. Firstly, it's regardless of the conversion between dollars and euro, you get your VAT, your tax back on your way back to your point of origin. You just need to be vigilant about getting all those necessary documents to make sure that you get your money back. So a good example, there's this belt that I was asked to purchase. In America, it is $570 plus tax. In euro, in the same item for this particular belt, it's only €420, and you get $27 of tax back. So, or more, depending on the tax that was put into that item. So technically, it's like around $300 something, and then it's really inexpensive to buy, and that's why it is always, I would say, recommended if you're gonna go shop and you will have a chance to go to Europe. Go buy in Europe. For the guys. You could always buy good Italian suits. Remember how some suits here cost so much? In Europe, you could buy for €99, and these are Italian suits, and they're wool, and they're really well crafted. Normally here, it costs between, I would say, depending on the style, depending on the maker or the designer, it could go from, I would say, $500 up to as high as $2,000. If you go into the very high end, then it can go. But in this particular, in Italy, of course, they're well known for the best tailored Italian suits. So that's one of those that I recommend, especially for the guys or for the ladies who would buy something for their significant other, to buy suits in Italy. Okay, there's more people watching us. Rosario, hello, John. Definitely a must-return destination. Love Italy. Yes, I agree. Benita Marcos is watching as well. Hello, happy viewing to you and to all of you. Okay, I think that is of Naples. So now our next stop will be Rome. Okay, just to give you a caveat to Rome, I personally didn't go to Vatican anymore because I've been there a couple of times, and we covered that in one of our shows in the past. And there's another area we will not touch this time, and it's a Trevi. It's a Fountain de Trevi, and I'll explain to you later because we already covered that. So now, from Venice, from Naples, we went to Italy. Italy became our home base. We spent a couple of days there, I think 2 days there, and it was great that we did that. So with Rome is very dear to my heart. Rome, reason being is, and I'll show you in the next show or so, I'll show you one of the reasons why I really push for this trip is because it is important that there's a promise I made to Padre Pio that I'll visit him again, which I did, and I'll show you that video in the next time. And there's another thing that I tried to do is to find the iconic perpetual help. Remember, if you are a believer or a Catholic, there's the Baclaran perpetual help. there's this 15th century icon, the original of the perpetual help image, and we researched that, and we found out it is in Rome, and that's another video that we'll show you next time. So now what you're seeing is we did again like what I recommended, half on, half off. And then the first stop what we did was the Colosseum. And Rome, if you go to Rome and you don't visit Colosseum, then you did not go to Rome at all, because Rome is called the Eternal City. Why it's called the Eternal City? Because according to them, no matter what happened in the rest of the world, the city of Rome would remain standing. So that's why they call it the Eternal City. It's because whatever happened to the rest of the world, the city of Rome will still be standing. When we went there, there's a lot of security people because for safety. What you're seeing right now on screen is the Colosseum. The Colosseum is the largest amphitheater during the Roman Empire. And again, like what I mentioned, the whole duration of this video, it's really a walking tour. It is important you really wear comfortable shoes because a lot of walking. This is really good. If you noticed, we did gain weight. Some of us, we lost weight because although we eat a lot and we consume a lot of pastas and carbs, our assumption is we're going to gain weight. But because of so much walking throughout the whole trip, we either maintain our weight or we even lose some of them because of the exercise of walking and really perspiring the whole time that we're doing this. This is in the different because the last video I showed you last time, I was able to get into the Colosseum. Colosseum it gives me an eerie feeling if you go in there because it reminds you of things that happened in the past where the Christians and there'll be Spartacus and all that there will be it's an amphitheater where Christians before there was a time where they're being fed to it's a maze, and hopefully next trip then I would have a better video because the last time I was there I wasn't able to do a video of it, but I try not to go inside of the Colosseum because it gives me an eerie feeling, and you could hear echo, you could hear screams on there. But that's my experience. I cannot say, I cannot speak for other people. But what we did for this particular trip is I went around the whole Colosseum and I want to make sure that I was able to capture it so I could really share it with you. And now what you're seeing on the background is the Roman Forum where all the debates happening before in the past that's where the venue was. And there's a lot of, again, just like any parts of Italy, there's a lot of structures, a lot of landmarks there that are very significant, like churches as well and cathedrals. And this, you would have a bird's eye view of the whole city if you do the half on, half off. And let me just explain briefly how it works. You pay 25 euro dollars, and then for every stops in this particular Rome, there's 15 stops, 13 to 15 stops, depending on what area you decided to get the bus from. For every stop, you could be off. You could go off the bus and explore, and then when you're ready to go back, all you have to do is hop on again, and then you continue with your trip. It's for the whole 24 hours, which is so cool. You spend that much and you could see the whole Rome, including the Vatican. You could go to the Spanish Steps, which you'll see. This one was taken inside the church. This is the Our Lady of Maggiore, which is the miraculous lady. This is for Catholics, this is one that needs to be seen, needs to see. Oh, this one is what I was telling you about. This is the perpetual help image, which is the 15th century image. And for those perpetual help devotee, you see this particular image in Baclaran, which is the shrine of the perpetual help. This is the original, and this is in Rome, in St. Alphonsus Church. It is so funny that I guess it was timely. It was meant to be, because the hotel that we were able to stay, or we stayed at, was like a couple of blocks away from this church. Now, this is the Church of Maggiore. If you look at that, it is beautiful. It's just one of those that you will salivate just looking at it, because the structure, the ceiling, it's just much. I mean, you will be lost for words or to describe how beautiful this church is. And this is a functional church. When we went there, there's a novena going on, and we try to be as quiet as possible, but they allow us to take videos and picture, provided we keep our silence and then keep quiet. Okay, then if you notice, then we'll try to go as deep into this church, and there's some catacombs in there, or there's some tombs in there. We've been able to explore, because we're trying to go into the other place that you will see later, because we're trying to get into Spanish Steps, and this is not part of the trip, but since it was on the way there, we might as well stop by, and it was a very pleasant surprise that we were able to get in there. Now, just to let you guys know, what you're seeing right now is not uniquely theirs, meaning majority of the cathedrals in Rome are almost the same, if not even better. If you go back to the show that we did, the Vatican, you would it would show you how almost the same, how intricate the designs, the columns, and the marvel of structure, the architectural structure that was put in there. And then, of course, there's tourists there as well. Yeah, even the ceiling, every part of it is Instagrammable. Every part of it is just one of those that you will just your jaws will just drop, because you will be in awe and you will be in trance of amazement that such beautiful thing could be right in front of you. You will be lost for word the way I am explaining it to you right now, because whoever conceptualized this is just amazingly inspired. Okay, and this is the altar, of course, and of course, in every corner of this particular church, there's so much effort, there's so much things going on, marvelous structures, columns. Look at that intricate sculptures of saints, of icons. And we don't normally see that in today's churches. Okay, this one, we were allowed to go right underneath the chapel or the altar, and this is how it looks. We're very, very careful, because the stairs on the way down is very stiff, and we try to be very careful because we don't want any accident happening here. Yeah, so this is how it looks, and of course, very, very careful that we try to go in our steps. Not a lot of people when we went there, because it gives you this kind of cold feeling. And there's the spoke structure there, the statue, and then of course you could tell it was so warm that day. And look at that, all the columns, all the sides, the walls, they are magnificently designed. Every inch of this particular church, and that's the altar, and of course for the devotee, and that's the the sanctuary. Yeah. Not a lot of us, by the way, we were all separated during this day. Most of them, they went to Vatican, and then they went to the Spanish Steps, which you'll see later. That was part of this trip as well. And this is the tabernacle. And then, of course, I kind of lose hold of the camera again because I almost tripped. So this one is what I was telling you about. While we were doing our tour, there's a novena going on. And when there's a novena going on, you are not allowed to go in there to take pictures. They're very, very strict when it comes to flash photography and video because it's a solemnity and it's like the respect that you have to give to the service and, of course, to the devotees. And it's so weird because before that sign, everybody was taking pictures. And see, on the left-hand side, he was taking a snapshot of the Blessed Virgin of Maggiore. Yeah, and that's the building, and that's the image, and it's the Miraculous Virgin, and it's a very famous landmark in Rome, aside from, of course, from the Vatican, among the other places as well, and cathedrals. And there's the sign that says, no flash photography, no video. Okay, now, this one is the Spanish Steps. Okay, so this is the other continuation. The Spanish Steps, which is, they call it the Plaza de España, or well, it's not España, or the Spanish Step. Okay, and then there's a fountain, which you'll see later in front of the steps. It is the Fountain de la Marcasia, or this is the Fountain of the Ugly Boat. Because if you notice that, or if you were not too engrossed in your shopping, it is shaped like a boat. The fountain right in front of the Spanish Steps. Okay? Because right to your right of the Spanish Steps are the beautiful signature. It's like the Via Veneto, which is the creme de la creme of the fashion world, and of course, where you go get all your signature items, signature bags, shoes, clothes, whatever. It's all there. Okay? And that, what you're seeing right now, is the Spanish Steps. And again, on top of the Spanish Steps, another cathedral. Okay? And then what you're seeing in front of you is the fountain. Yeah, see right now, what you're seeing right now, right after the structure, the whole street, these are the street of fashion, or we could call it the Via Veneto. Okay, Juliet Marcos is watching. Hey, Juliet, you're watching from Laguna. Hi, Juliet. This is a trip, right? This is a travel log, vlog, or video log of the travel in Europe. Okay, now this is, again, imagine if you are, especially people here in California, if you go to Vegas, this is almost a replica of what you have in Venice or in Bellagio. Like if you go indoors, it's like, remember how, look at the ceiling, look at that, look at the sky. Look, if you remember how it is in Bellagio and Venice, that's how they painted it. This is how it looks. Oh, now this is the obelisk, and it shows the Blessed Virgin. This is very famous for Catholics because that is the Redeemer, and that's the image of the Virgin. And then, of course, it's very famous. Columns or obelisk in Europe is very common, and it has prayers in there. If you take notice, these are chants of prayers that are printed or sculpted. There's a sculpture on them. It's written on every. These are prayers or mantras that are common to devotees. And then on the left and right side, of course, are the stores. So when you get into to Rome, it's really a task. Whether are you there for the sightseeing? Are you there for the shopping? It's really up to you because, again, this is really where it is. It's not expensive. It is inexpensive. It's not cheap, but compared to American dollars or American stores, you go crazy, especially on these specialty stores. Okay, now you could tell we were walking here. It's almost going to be almost late in the afternoon, so you could tell people are not as many anymore because they're going to. We're looking for, or we're going to the Piazza Navona now. Okay, and then of course we're looking for that. It's a long walk from the Spanish Steps, and of course the good thing with Europe is you could go to different places, and there's so many cafeterias or shanties or food stalls, and there's a lot of things going on. Now, this particular location now, what you're seeing on screen is the Piazza or Plaza Navona, okay? And this is known for their 3 majestic fountains. Now, you'll ask me, what are those fountains? There are the Fontana de Quattro Fiuspi, or the fountain, the four rivers, okay? And then the Fontana de Moro, or the seashell fountain, and the Fontana del Nettuno, or the Fountain of Neptune. And you'll have a close-up of that. Around this Plaza Navona there's a lot of places, restaurants, cafes. So there's no dull moment here, and there's street performers. So if you're familiar with Times Square, this is almost similar to Times Square because there's some street performers, there are people displaying their wares. And this is where you could find also some of the signature bags, the signature bags that are not genuine, but they're like almost the same, but I would hate to say they're fakes, but this is where you normally see them. And it's laid out on the streets. They're the Vuittons, the Chanels. But you could tell, if you have a good eye, you could tell. See right there to your right, they are being displayed for a very, very inexpensive prices. So this is the Fountain of Neptune. So for obvious reasons, that's Neptune right there in front, and this is one of the first fountain there. It's on the right side. If you're looking in front of the cathedral, to your right side is where this is. Again, this is the Piazza Navona, and it's well known for its 3 fountains. Okay, and then of course that's what you're looking at is the Fountain of Neptune, or Fontana del Nettuno. Okay, so it's beautiful structure as well, and it's Instagrammable, it's picturesque. It's that alone is it's a postcard perfect if you take a good, and then of course that's the statue of Neptune. So imagine it's a plaza with 3 fountains in it. I mean, of course, this is the well-known plaza where people meet, where people eat, where people they Okay, now this is the other fountain, which is the Fountain of the Shells. Okay. So because there's a lot of mermaids in there, and there's shells in there, and then it's Fortuno de Moro, or Seashell Fountain. Yeah, so it's beautiful as well. It's very, it's breathtaking. This is a good word for that. And then again, there's an obelisk again in there. And you could tell it's almost going to be a little in the evening already as well. And of course, you could tell people are still there. There's street vendors there selling. It reminds you of Times Square in New York, or it reminds you of if you go to Vegas and you go and explore the streets of Las Vegas, you'll see that. Or if you're in Los Angeles, it's the 3rd Street Promenade. You'll see a lot of vendors, street performers, fortune tellers. Yeah. And that's the 3rd fountain, which is Fontana di Quattro, or the Fountain of the 4 Rivers. And you can see I hope I capture all the three rivers. I tried to go around, but it's getting dark, and luckily, my camera, my phone is giving a good shot of all these beautiful fountains that I could share with you today. And this is all Rome. Again, I did not or will not include Vatican anymore because I already did that the last show, or one of the shows that we did in the past, as well as Fountain de Trevi, which is the Trevi Fountain. And that was, we covered that, and it was made famous, but that film, 3 coins in the fountain. And of course, we already talked about the myth about the throwing coins in there, the first coin, that you will be allowed to go back to Rome. If you throw 2 coins in there, that you would meet someone. And then the third coin, if you do that from right to left shoulder, that person you met at Fountain de Trevi will be your paramour, or the one you'll end up with. So I believe that should be our last video for this episode. So what we did, to summarize, or in summary, we did a fly in from LA to Rome, direct flight. So I don't recommend that anymore. Just a tip, because you need to get to make it more economical and least expensive. Try to get a flight that is non-stop, or not non-stop, but with layover to a certain location, whether it's Toronto, Canada, or another place, because it's less costly to do that. Secondly, know the train system, because from Rome, you could go from Romani Termini, which is the terminal, or the train terminal. You could go to Florence, you could go to Venice, you could go to Milan, you could go to other places just by taking the train. There's 2 versions of the train. One is either you go first class, which is kind of pricey for obvious reason, or you could go second class. The second class is much to be desired, simply because if you are too keen about toilets, it's not as clean compared to the first class. But my tip to you, which I've done, is although we were on second class, I would sneak in to the first class, especially when it's so crowded in second class. That's a little tidbit, but because it's really not compared to the plane, where if you're in economy or coach and then you are in the first class, there's so many hurdles you have to take. There's curtains. It's really not that hard. So you could really pass from second class to first class. So that's my tip. You could plan it ahead of time, meaning you could buy your tickets ahead of time. They do accept all major credit cards and cash. And of course, you need to exchange your US dollars to euro or whatever denomination you have in your country of origin. You could always exchange it to any money changer in Europe to convert it to euro. And then also, we covered already Florence. Florence is good for me for 2 reasons. One is the Duomo Cathedral, and I did not show you the Academe where the original the statue of David is. I didn't have time for that. And then of course, if you're into shopping, there's beautiful places also to shop in Florence. Then from Florence, you could also visit Venice, and that's really my recommendation. Do not visit Venice, because Venice is, you need to experience the gondola ride. You need to experience the Plaza de San Marco. You need to experience the food there. And then, of course, this is one of those experiences you need to try at least once in your lifetime, is the gondola ride. It's not very expensive, especially if you're grouped together. And it's one hell of an experience. It takes you back to olden times to experience how beautiful Venice is. My recommendation, though, is spend more time. One day is not enough. One day is not enough to see a lot of Venice. I would say 2 to 3 days, at least 2 days, have an overnighter there. That's my recommendation if you're going to go to Venice. Then the next stop we did was another visit was Naples. Naples, like what I said earlier, is where pizza started. I would highly recommend, if you have more time, to do a day trip. Day trip 2. 1, you could go to Positano, which is the UN where the houses are on a cliff, and you could go also to Sorrente, where the beautiful flowers are, and then of course you could go to Capri. See, the thing is, you really have to have more time. One day is not enough to visit. So this particular one, I recommend, if you have one day to go to spend in Naples, do the hop on, hop off, which is the red bus, because it gives you the whole eye view of the whole city of Naples. The B line is the coastal line, and the A line is the city line. And then, of course, you could do your shopping as well to the different high-end places in Naples. And of course, not to miss in any of your trip to Italy will be Rome. Rome is the eternal city, simply because when everything is said and done, Rome is still standing. Not only you have to visit the Vatican, you have to visit, of course, the Fountain de Trevi, but definitely not to be missed is the Colosseum. Not to be missed is also the Spanish Steps. Not to be missed would be the different piazza. I've been to Rome for so many times already, and it seems like every time I go there, there's other places to see. There's the Pantheon that I didn't see this time. There's the other cathedral that I'd like to visit. But the highlight of my trip, which we will cover next time, we kind of cover it this time. Part of that is the Perpetual Help, which I am a devotee, but definitely will devote a whole show for my visit to my return, technically, to the city of San Giovanni and Rotondo to visit my good friend, Padre Pio. And it was a surreal experience again for the second time. I took a very nice video this time, minus the tears that went in there. This time I'm more collected. It was just amazing. Now we're showing again the Perpetual Home. This is one of those experiences that I am so thankful, not only to Roxanne and her family, to Nick, to the kids, to G1, that's Joy Guzman and June Guzman and the kids, and of course Nia, who just celebrated her 18th birthday. The trip would not have happened, but I also would like to thank everyone on that trip that I had. I had a blast. I know some of them by name before joining the trip, but now I have an extended family. I saw them recently, last Saturday, and then we had a good time with Nia's birthday party. We'll try to cover that as well to show you tidbits of the party itself. It was one of those party that is a must-see, if I could say that. You have to see that for yourself. It was a beautiful, so memorable, momentous occasion party. It was a lot of fun, and it was just amazing. So I will take this opportunity definitely to thank G1, or the Guzman 1 and the Guzman 2, for allowing me to be part of this one hell of a trip, one hell of an experience, definitely one for the books. It's a vacation of a lifetime, especially right after the pandemic. One thing I would definitely share with you is it is so wonderful to spend amazing time with good friends, with people that you care about, that you love, and the friendship that was built, the friendship that was created because of this trip. I know it's for a lifetime. So I really thank you thank you from the bottom of my heart. Maraming salamat to my good friend Roxanne and her family, to Nick for being so supportive and wonderful, and of course to Joy for being a good little sister to Roxy. I don't think it would have happened without all the hardship and all the hard work that Roxanne Longtop Guzman did, not only for me but for the whole group. Again, with all heartfelt congratulations for a job well done. Maraming salamat. So, hopefully the next travel log, I will definitely cover Greece. We went to Mykonos as well as Santorini. And some of us did more shopping. Some of us, not all of us. But definitely we'll cover that next vlog. I will definitely make an announcement when that would happen. We're preparing the video for that as well. So this would be a good vlog or a travel log for you guys to see, especially those people who are so afraid to travel, or maybe because of the pandemic, the budget is so limited. But like what I advised you earlier, that it is most important that you travel with good friends, you travel in groups, because it is so much fun. It kind of made the cost lower or inexpensive simply because everything is divided by but the number of people in your group. It was, to me, that was a good group. It was a big group. I don't know how we were able to manage, or how Roxanne was able to put it together, because I myself, I told her, I'm so used to doing events, but what she did with of course with the help of Nick, June, and Joy, it's just one amazing trip. And I've been telling her to make this as a business, but we'll see. And of course, looking forward to the next trip that the group would have. This is one blessing that I have for 2022. So before I close the show, before anything else, I always tell people to be nice. It is so difficult, but be nice. You can never go wrong with kindness, and be kind. And also, every act of kindness that you do to people, it is greatly guaranteed it will come back to you in different times, in different forms. So, before anything else, may some comments. The Kayabyabs. That's John Kayabyab was asking, where is the next destination? That is a good question. I would not know, but definitely looking forward to that for the invitation. Just like all of us, I will see who will be invited and who will not be invited. And that will be a guessing game that only G1 and G2 would know. And like what I said, be kind. And those people, please do watch our show tomorrow. I have another show at 10 p.m. here in the Pacific, and it's 1 o'clock in the Philippines, and different zones, of course, globally. Depends on where you are and what time zone you are. It is Dear Kuya Josh, Ate Jen, and our topic tomorrow, it's a very good topic, and hopefully you guys could watch it. If not, you could always watch the replay going to our www.phlbradio.com, or you could definitely go to our YouTube channel, which is PHLV Radio, to watch some of the other shows or some of the past shows that we had. So with that, magandang gabi, magandang araw, magandang umaga, magandang tanghali. God bless us all. I hope you had a wonderful time. Keep blessed, keep protected, and be vaccinated, be safe. And maraming salamat for always tuning in, for all your support. I would not have made this show possible without all of you, with all your support, with all of your walang sawang pakikinig, walang sawang panonood, and walang sawang pag-share ng video na to. Maraming salamat po. I am so humbled that definitely maraming salamat and thank you. Bye now. We'll see you tomorrow. And have a nice trip for those people. Have a safe trip. Bye-bye.
Is your Filipino radio experience in Las Vegas. PHLV Radio.
PHLV Radio.